Welcome to the Outdoors and Holistic Project podcast edition. I'm Kusia, also known as City Girl in Nature, and today I'm joined by Casey from Sensoryland. Hi, Casey.
Hi, so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So what is Sensoryland, I guess?
Right, so love to talk about Sensoryland. This is my baby. It's a business that I created in 2015, and I created it with the thoughts of bringing sensory experiences to children. But since then, it's expanded, and I offer things for babies, children, their parents, and just adults in general.
Wow, so it's been a journey already, nearly like 10 years.
Oh my goodness, I hadn't realised. That is amazing. Yes, so it's been my baby that I've nurtured from a tiny little thing, and it's been an amazing journey to see how it's progressed as I've grown and changed, and as the people who attend my classes, what they need as well.
Wow, that's a sound. The way you even said it so like casually. Oh yeah, since 2015. That's when I just left school basically.
I'm showing my age.
No, you're still young. Don't worry about that. But yeah, no, that sounds amazing though.
Thank you.
I guess for me, what I'd love to like explore more as well is what does that involve? I know you said like you facilitate kind of sessions and stuff from babies, toddlers, adults. You know, there's a variety. You've nurtured this baby of yours and now it's grown into something much bigger. But what does it involve?
Absolutely. So it started with mainly classes for children, and it was kind of birthed out of the idea that I didn't do very well in school. So my teachers were always telling me Casey would do better if she applied herself, or Casey's away with the fairies. And sitting at a desk in a school was not the way I could learn. I couldn't concentrate. And that was no reflection of my intelligence or my interest. It just didn't work for me. And I went on to become a nanny. And as I was a nanny going to different children's classes, I could just see that there were other little Caseys in the room who weren't necessarily getting the most out of those situations. And I just wanted to create something that little Casey would have enjoyed. And we've got sensory play. So it's working on, most of us know our five main senses. So to see, to smell, to taste, to hear, and to touch. But we've got other senses. So you can have a sense that someone's looking at you, and you look across the room and someone is looking at you, or you can sense that someone's behind you, or if you were upside down and you had your eyes covered, you would know you were upside down. So we've got some other senses as well that we explore. And so I just kind of really organically started creating classes that little Casey would have enjoyed. So that was story time, messy play. We did classes outside in nature, and then baby massage and baby yoga. And today it's evolved since to include things that are more well-being based that can really help us to be at peace and one with ourselves. Because little Casey, mind away with the fairies, I would say, I experienced anxiety and stress as a child, and I know that there are other people experiencing that now. I've heard that from my clients as well, and I can see it firsthand. So now I offer meditation and sound baths and breath work, and it's just this really lovely well-being service to support you from when you're born all the way up until you're grown up.
Wow, that's great. Especially that is that like kind of spectrum of from birth to adult as well.
Yes.
Because, at different stages in life, I guess there's always things that we come across, ups and downs as life goes. So being able to, I guess, have this tool, it sounds like almost, it's like a tool.
Absolutely. And to be able to regulate, right? To be comfortable in your own skin and to know, I'm feeling a little bit stressed today. What can I do? Yeah, it's really helpful.
That sounds amazing. Can you tell me a bit more about yourself as well? I know you said that obviously you started Sensoryland in 2015, but do you have like a background that connects you with sound in particular?
Yeah, that's a lovely question actually. So from South London, I grew up thinking I was going to be on the stage. I thought I was going to dance and sing. I'm very clumsy and accident prone and hypermobile. So I had a few injuries, and I was at this turning point of life, okay, maybe I can't follow my career in dance and singing. What else can I do? And my entire family works with children. It's crazy. We all have some connection with children. And so I looked into that and started, as I said, nannying, which was really enjoyable, and kind of pursued childcare avenues. So I've gone on to become a maternity nurse. I first set up a babysitting agency. So it was all kind of to do with children. And I got into sound more so from my own experiences and my own needs to find some peace. I don't know about you, but I've got a busy brain. I'm a busy brain person. So anyone out there who's listening or watching who has a busy brain, I'm like you. And I thought, let me see if I can do some meditation. Is that going to help me? Mm-mm. Let me see if I can do some yoga. Is that going to help me? No. And one day I went to a yoga class and the teacher started doing a sound healing. And it was the first time my mind had been peaceful for a long time. And I remember lying there on the mat going, oh my gosh, I'm not thinking. This is great. And then going, oh no, that was a thought. Okay, no, I am still thinking, but less. And so through that experience myself, I then went on to explore sound, learn about sound, train in sound, and then share it that way.
Wow, that sounds like a really, really nice journey, like, an introduction, in fact, I guess, into that experience of sound.
Yeah.
And I guess for people that are like sensory, sensory needs,
Needs, yeah.
sensory
Yeah.
needs. Do you feel that there's like ways that this particular kind of, what would you call what you do? Sound healing or?
Yeah, so the name is quite interchangeable, and I think sound healing maybe has a connotation of we're broken and we need fixing, and I don't believe that any of us are broken and need fixing. So some alternative names are sound baths, sound journeys, sound therapy, vibrational medicine, like there's
Yeah, I like
lots
those
of,
ones.
they're lovely, aren't they?
Yeah.
So what would I describe it as? Did you say?
Yeah.
Sorry. So it's like a really relaxing experience for someone. It's non-invasive, so I don't touch you. I don't necessarily need to come near you. But on the theory of quantum physics, so everything is vibration. The vibrations from the instruments will impact our personal vibrations and help bring those back to balance or harmony, whatever we want to call it.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah,
That
so
sounds so profound. Like even the way you just like kind of explained it as well. So
yeah.
someone that has sensory
Sensory
needs,
needs.
yeah, how would that kind of like benefit them, or how can that kind of connect with that need? I
Yeah.
know maybe people on the autistic spectrum, or maybe people that are described as hyperactive, or like those are some of the kind of diagnosis or labels, depending on how people look on it. People are more commonly having. I
Yeah.
guess like how can this kind of help them, or what are some of the benefits? Not just for
Yeah.
them, but just who I would like to like kind of hear from
Yes.
firsthand, but then also for everyone generally. How can it benefit everyone? I guess.
So working with the senses is a really great way for people to be in the present moment. So if we are thinking about, the temperature of our skin, we're right here in this very moment thinking about the temperature of our skin. My mind went to the temperature of my skin. I don't know if it did for you and the listeners. So it can be really beneficial for people with additional sensory needs. What's important to know that sound healing is very vast. There's lots of different instruments and techniques that we can use, and not all sound baths are for every person. And so it's important to know that, some people are very sensitive to loud sounds, or perhaps very sensitive to sensations, and we can tailor the session to their needs and what works for them. So for instance, if you think of like a big gong, a big metallic gong, that's going to make really powerful vibrations, and that could be oversensitive for some people, especially if their hearing is quite sensitive. Whereas a crystal bowl, which is something that I work with a lot, that's got a lighter, higher sound, and that can be more palatable for other people. But how does it help people with different sensory needs? So much so. I've had people on different scales of needs come into my sessions and reporting of just feeling really relaxed and really calm and feeling really good, or really quite excited of being able to actually feel these sensations. This is it's just an instrument. We've seen instruments throughout, our lives. We've probably had a recorder at school, etc. But how do these instruments impact our physical form? And you can physically feel it at times, and it's lovely.
I guess also like in terms of, you mentioned like crystal bowls and stuff. It
Yes.
sounds like you use a lot of natural kind of materials, and I guess in your practices.
Yeah.
So how does that work as well? How are they formed? Where do you
Yeah.
source them from? Like these are like how did you even come across knowing that, this is like the crystal bowl does this sound, and
Yeah.
I'd love to like hear more about that too.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, as far as I'm aware, crystal healing, crystal bowls is a sort of newer technology that we've used. Things like Tibetan bowls, which is a metal bowl that you strike or stir in a similar way to a crystal bowl. They've been around for thousands of years. It's in the name Tibetan bowls. So the instruments that I work with, crystals, mostly with clear quartz, and crystals are in everything. They're in our mobile phones. They're powerful tools that are from the earth, and people wear crystals. We've got diamonds, for example, but more so gems like clear quartz, carnelian, rose quartz. They've all got different properties and things that they can help us with. And so they're often infused into the bowls. So when you play a bowl, so for example, rose quartz, one of my favorite, that resonates with our heart. So if you're feeling like you want to be able to connect to love energy more, maybe that's you're not able to love yourself as much as you would like to, or you can't receive love or share love, you could work with rose quartz. So you could maybe wear a rose quartz necklace, for example, right over the heart, and that's going to help you connect with that frequency. Well, also if it's in the bowl, if we play the bowl and it's rose quartz, that property of the quartz and the rose quartz is going to send it out to you, and it's going to help you connect with love, which is just
Wow.
amazing, right?
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Like all of this can happen just through sound.
Yeah.
Like for me, that's like just hearing that, it's really quite powerful. I know that music, I've always connected with music and lyrics, beats and stuff, but
Yeah.
obviously I guess that was also helped me along my own personal journey. But hearing you now talk about how actually truly healing it is, I've
Yeah.
heard once from my dad, that back in the days with sound systems, how they're quite loud,
Yeah.
that the vibrations were what were helping a lot of the people like in
Yeah.
that time too. But I never really knew to the extent that what you're explaining,
Yeah.
that, just even with the type of material that's being used, it's almost like it's going through the air to you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it completely.
So,
It really is. It is magical. And you're so right about music. I think probably the listeners can all agree that we've all been moved at some point by music, whether that's a film score that evokes an emotion of like excitement and joy or sadness. Music's a very powerful tool. And if you have that intention behind your creation of what you're doing, so if it is to help bring peace, if it is to help heal, then that's exactly what it would do. Our intention is super powerful.
it's nice to hear you say that as well, because I guess a lot of the time, especially like living in the city or having a chaotic life that can feel chaotic, I guess, being able to have that perspective of being intentional,
Yeah.
I've been hearing that quite a lot recently too. It really does shift things with a lot of these holistic practices.
Yeah.
I guess is that what kind of activates them as well? Would you say, like, say for instance, someone that's never done sound bathing before,
Yeah.
I guess with the intentions of going into it and accepting whatever might happen, for instance,
Yeah.
is that like one of the, I guess, tips or kind of ways for someone that is new to something like this? And
Yeah.
I guess my question is also, how can someone that's never done sound bathing kind of find places, or what's a good introduction for them to kind of get the opportunity to experience something like this.
Yeah, okay, that was loaded. There's so much in there, and I want to remember to answer it all. So
Don't
if I
worry,
forget something, nudge me.
whatever you felt connected to the most.
All of it. So, I mean, for those who haven't experienced a sound bath, how I can kind of relate it to would be if you are out in nature, there's no technology, there's no loud sounds, no sirens, no stresses, and you've got like beautiful fresh air, the sun's shining down on you and you feel good. You've got nothing kind of bothering you at that time. That's what being in a sound bath almost feels like. And so, you know, I'm from Streatham, South London, concrete jungle. You know, I was lucky to have some green spaces around me, but many of us living in cities don't have access to green spaces. And so doing things like sound baths can give us the same benefits physiologically as, say, being out in nature, walking barefoot, being around trees and tree bathing or hugging a tree. I'm a massive tree hugger. I will admit that. Yeah, I'm so here for that. So it can cause the same reactions within our body as doing that. How can somebody access it? So I would say that because we're all different, we've all got different interests and needs and wants. It's about kind of finding out what works for us. So if we feel like we've got big things to shift, maybe that's stresses and traumas, maybe we want to go for like a punchy gong bath, something that's like really big and heavy. But if you feel like you need to be nurtured and cuddled and you want to feel safe and secure, something like my sound baths where it's got that really motherly, nurturing vibe where I want everyone to feel really safe. Because at the end of the day, no matter if we have an intention to let go of stress, for example, if you don't feel safe, you're not going to be able to. You know, you can feel quite vulnerable lying down on a mat with your eyes closed, you know. So that's where I just want to make everybody really feel comfortable in the environment. You know, I use these beautiful studios. I make sure they're comfortable to the max with yoga mats and bolsters and blankets because I'm always cold and I like to be cozy. So I make it how I would kind of want to be, so that people can really settle into that space as well. I'm sure there was more in that question that I've
No, that was nice. Thank you so much. You did definitely answer what I was trying to get to. I guess for me, I know you touched briefly just then about like traumas and stuff. So some people, I guess, have everyone has their own sort of trauma.
Absolutely.
And I guess with coping or understanding, overstanding, you know, depending on your outlook on these life experiences we face, I guess how can they kind of look at this as an alternative therapy rather than like talking therapy or the typical kind of things that I guess is commonly known to everyone, even if it's like mental health as well, in terms of going through the GP and doing, as I said, talking therapy or stuff like that. But some people also get in contact with those services right at the extreme end of, you know, being sectioned, for instance. So so I guess, how can people that are going through a tough time kind of see this as an alternative therapy? Because not everyone will think of this like, you know, that this is a way that they can benefit from.
To be honest, I'll be deadly honest, I hadn't even heard of it before I experienced it. And I was just so lucky to be on the mat that day in that class when that teacher had a sound bowl. Do you know what I mean? So I totally see where you're going with this. As bad as lockdown was, it's been good because there's been an awakening. People are so more open to trying new things and also listening to how they're feeling and respecting how they're feeling. There's a culture of like, keep calm and carry on. Which is just absolutely bonkers. And it just feels like now, since we've had that space in lockdown, we are now, you know, more openly speaking about things that are happening for us, how we're feeling, and being able to access other things. But you're right, you know, that it's that prescriptive kind of thing, you know, oh, I'm feeling a bit down, I'm feeling a bit muggy. I'll go through this uncomfortable stage of probably keeping it to myself. And then maybe I'll tell a friend, maybe. Or maybe I'll go to the doctors. And that might take us down a path of, who knows, antidepressants or talking therapies. But there are so many other well-being practices that people can try and experience that might actually help them get to where they would get to with, say, the talking therapies, in a quicker, easier way for them. I've had people come to a session with me and say, in that 1 hour sound healing, it feels like 3 weeks of therapy, which is just amazing. It opens up a space for people to access what they need to. So, for example, in a sound bath, I like to open with, it's okay if your mind is busy and it's off doing something else. It's even okay if you fall asleep. The vibrations will still work on us. And I mean, people often fall asleep when we have a sound bath. So if you think about our nervous system, we've got our fight or flight, which most of us are in during the day and when we're busy. Our bodies are ancient, so we can't tell the difference between a saber-toothed tiger and a siren. And I mean, living in London, there's a lot of sirens. So our body responds in the same way. It releases cortisol. It thinks that there's some danger. And we talk about cortisol in a negative way. It's not a negative thing. It can help keep us safe. So cortisol is going to stop us stepping out into the road and, being hit by a bus, for example. So we do need a little bit of the stress hormone cortisol. But what's happening is our body's releasing this cortisol often, and it's not able to regulate that and release those kind of happy hormones, our serotonin, endorphins, dopamine, they're the feel-good hormones. And so when we go to a sound bath, this triggers in our body. So you don't actively need to think, I'm going to release some serotonin now. It actually just happens naturally, which is really cool. And when we release those, we lower our cortisol. So we're going to feel less stressed, which is ultimately what we want. So in terms of traumas and stuff like that, if we fall asleep, if our mind is busy, if we're distracted, whatever it is, our body is going to naturally lower our stress hormone. It's going to allow us space to process whatever it is that we need to go through. And we have all got traumas, whether it's traumas that we've experienced firsthand or generational, ancestral trauma, things that we've, been passed down along the line. So the sound healing is really powerful in that way because it's helping us to process it. And I think that's where we're all at this time. Since the lockdown, we are awakened. We are more powerful than ever because we are accessing these things to support ourselves, which is great, right?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely will say, even embarking on my own personal journey of motherhood.
Yeah.
It's been quite a beautiful journey in terms of, I guess a lot of people typically see motherhood as a typically, I guess, not everyone, but like what I've heard anyway, my experience is that, motherhood, it changes your life, which it does, but like in a negative way. And I guess for me, I've not really had that experience full on, and I've tried to like look at it in a completely different way. And I just thought that, for people that are first time mothers, I know it can be quite challenging, even when that transition as well of being just a woman, regular woman, to then becoming a mother that, is nurturing someone else. Through many ways, including like your own body changes and supporting to grow up a child, whether it's through breastfeeding, whatever way it is. But motherhood, like loads of kind of things come along with motherhood. So I guess for some women that may experience not so much a positive kind of birth kind of story, whether that's through hospitals, whether that's whatever that looks like, how can they also use this as a tool as well? Because I guess maybe for them it might be different, because I know you said you also do stuff with babies too. So could it be something that's like a mother and baby kind of thing?
Absolutely. And I have done that before, and it's really lovely to hear your experience. And there's a saying that when a baby is born, so is a mother. And there are so many changes, and it's tricky not to get caught up in what we hear, because lots of people have an opinion on parenthood, especially the lack of sleep, I think. For a lot of new parents, it's a big transition. And what's really nice is I infuse what I've done with my nannying, my maternity nursing, my baby classes and stuff, and the sound healing. It goes so well together. So I've done events for new parents or new mums with their babies, and there is zero pressure. So babies do not need to be quiet. They do not need to sleep. They can cry, they can feed, they can have a cuddle, anything like that. And it takes all of that pressure off, because if you've gone somewhere with your newborn baby, they're unpredictable, they will wake up, you think, I've nailed it. I know exactly what's happening. They feed every 3 hours. I've got this. And then you're out in public and they want to feed every 1 hour or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So there's no pressure in the sessions to just be, I'm here to help. I'm here to support in any way possible. But you and your baby can both receive the sound. And I mean, I don't want to get up on my soapbox and start preaching, but we are supposed to be in a tight-knit community. We are supposed to be a village. The way people are birthing and raising their babies now, it's not as it should have been, and how it has been for thousands of years. It should traditionally be that you've got your mum, your aunties, your cousins, your sisters. They are all around helping you to recover from pregnancy and birth and raising a baby human. They're also there to support in looking after your child. And sadly, so many people are living in the cities now without their family, without that support system, without that community. And so it is harder for a lot of people if they haven't got that support system by partners or friends or whatever it is. And so, accessing sound healing is a sort of relief for them, especially in my classes, because I am specifically a parent and baby, wellbeing practitioner. So I'm there to kind of guide and support and offer help and suggestions should they want them, whilst also giving them an experience in a relaxed manner where they can just, oh, my baby's crying, or my baby needs to feed whilst I'm receiving the sound in, and it's totally chill and no one's going to tell you to be quiet or anything like that.
Yeah. Is there something about you, when you were just explaining as well, mothers and aunties and sisters, is there also something about like women as well, I guess, in that supporting kind of transition period? Because I heard that you kind of said specifically like women, you mentioned that, and then also with your classes, it sounds like, because I know as well because I breastfed my son as well, sometimes being out, at the beginning, I felt a bit uncomfortable, with certain things that kind of put me off from going out, especially because I look quite young, and then there's like loads of, as you say, perceptions, and you start to feel those kind of perceptions. But I guess when what you're mentioning, that kind of importance of like, I guess older women or women around you that kind of may or may not have the same experience, but be able to like nurture you within this period too.
Yeah, the community.
Yeah, and is there something around that too in terms of, do you do like specifically like I don't know, women's sessions, or do you do also couple sessions or family sessions? Like, I don't know. I'm just kind of
I love where you're going, and it's a great little segue into something I'd love to share with you as well, which is mother's blessings. So I did speak more so on women, and I think that's just traditional, but men can also be involved absolutely in that process of birthing and care and nurturing, as many men do want to be involved. But there are some cultures in this example where not just the mother breastfeeds her child, which is just like, over here in the UK, that's not what we know of traditionally. And so that's why I kind of bring it back into the women. And, there are lots of ceremonies that women do for women in other traditions, like the closing of the bones, which is where you're kind of wrapped up and brought together and massaged, which is a really lovely way to support you post-birth. Or it could be, really wholesome stews and soups being made for you to nourish your body post-birth. So those are just some of the roles traditionally that the women would have taken upon, but it's not exclusive to women. I'll say that. And yeah, I work closely with families, so I go into homes and I do sessions for, the mothers and the fathers, or they've got younger children that want to join as well. I do all of that. But the kind of connection that I thought would be really lovely to mention is Mother's Blessings, which is another service that I offer. And most people have heard of a baby shower. They're quite popular now. And when I think of baby showers, I often think of decorations, cakes, and party games. And it's like a celebration of, how exciting, a baby's going to be born. But they sort of stem from Mother's Blessings, which is a more traditional kind of gathering, and it is again of women, and it's holding space for this woman. She's transitioning from being a girl or a young woman to a mother, and that is a huge transition. And so we're celebrating you, but we're holding you, so we're giving you a platform to share your experience. How are you feeling? What do you need support with? Do you have any reservations or fears? How can we help you with that? And so, each Mother's Blessing is different. People can, sometimes they braid each other's hair, or they might face paint the tummy, and draw like nice patterns on the tummy, or give the mother massages, kind of whatever she wants. Sometimes we do some art together, but it's in the name Mother's Blessing. So it's all about intentionally coming together with a group of women who want the best for this mother. We want to support you. We want to share our happy wishes with you, but also we're here to receive. So tell us, what do you think you need? Do you think that you're going to need help with your eldest child? Do you think you're going to need some food, or, whatever it is? And so we can all be assigned roles so that we can then support you when you've had your baby.
That sounds really good. I think more people need to know about, mother's blessings over baby showers.
Yes.
Yeah, because as you say, it's become really popular, baby showers, and also gender reveals as well.
Yeah.
It's becoming more of a thing. But what you just explained, it sounds like that there's more need for this rather than, of course, we all like games and we all like stuff like that. But the mother's blessing sounds very much more wholesome, because that period after like a woman does give birth, it's very, I guess, the journey of motherhood, parenthood is very unpredictable, as you've explained it, in a beautiful way.
Yes.
And it's like you have to kind of have that support system, and the what you're saying as well about delegating, because everyone has gifts and specialities that can, as a team, as a family, as a village, can benefit from. And that just sounds so beautiful. I'm gonna try and do one of those for my next child.
Yes, have a Mother's Blessing. I insist. And then it just takes that pressure off. Once baby's arrived, we always feel like we must be busy all of the time. And no, you've got your community, you've got your tribe, your village to come and support you and bring you food if that's what you need, or make sure that you've got water, or give you a foot massage, whatever it is that you need. We're here, we're ready to serve you, and we want to serve, which is just lovely.
Wow, that's really powerful. Wow, I didn't even know about this before.
Nice.
So it's nice to hear all of these types of things, because even for me, it's a new journey for me, and like hearing your kind of expertise is like such a pleasure.
Thank you.
So I guess another thing is that there's loads of stuff within our ancient cultures, and even the sound bowls, as you explained, that connects us to our ancestors and the people that have come before, that we are now tapping into in a way, and now having as you've said, an awakening, or connection now, or a need. It feels like a lot of people are now feeling this sense of urge to want to come towards holistic practices and changing their lifestyles. I certainly feel that way. So
me too.
What's one of your most defined moments you've had with a client, for instance? I know you mentioned about your first time experiencing sound.
Wow. I mean, it sounds crazy, but it'd be hard to pick one. I've had so many amazing experiences, but this one just makes me so happy. So I used to go to this amazing Tai Chi class, and I chatted to the Tai Chi teacher and he said, bring your bowls. That's a good idea. So it was one day in the summer and we were outside in this beautiful garden doing Tai Chi. And I did a little sound bath at the end of the session as part of our relaxation. And one of the ladies came up to me at the end. And I had no idea, what was going on within her body. And she just said she's been experiencing back pain for years. She's gone through lots of different doctors and taking medications and stuff to try and help her back. And she just lay down for this sound bath and she just said the pain just disappeared. Wow. Which is just incredible. And she was just, so shocked and surprised and grateful that this had happened. And actually, that's something that is key for me to share with people as well. It's in the title of Sound Healer, and although I'm a sound healer by title, I'm not the healer. So I'm not this magic medicine doctor person who's going to fix you. The healing all happens within you. I'm just the person who opens up the space and makes you feel comfortable enough to do that. But yeah, it was amazing. She had suddenly just said all this back pain had just ended. Sadly, I couldn't follow her around with a sound bowl, but I'm presuming it came back. But that's just really great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pain just disappeared. And multiple people have said that of different things as well. Wild.
I think that's wow. Like as I said earlier, that sense of like like every time you explain it, it's like something's in the air, but it's actually what's in the air is the sound.
Yeah.
So that's what's so powerful. Like we hear loads of sounds and stuff, but I guess we don't necessarily know the power, and hearing all of this is just like wow. I guess for someone that would like to have heard you speaking today and would like to follow in your footsteps, what's some of the ways that they can get into upskilling themselves and getting themselves involved in this type of practice?
Yeah, so I can honestly say when I got into sound, my life just upgraded and has been on this amazing trajectory ever since. It was kind of in lockdown when I was looking into sound a lot more, and when the world was in chaos, the only thing that made sense was sound. So if other people want to get into sound, then I'm just excited for them. What I would say is have a look at what's out there. There are so many different styles and techniques and different instruments. See what's kind of calling you. Any sound could be used for sound healing. So that could be drums, it could be flutes, it could be chimes, it could be crystal bowls, gongs. There is, so many different instruments that could be accessed. So perhaps try and go to a few different types of sound baths. See what resonates and works for you, what instruments you connect to. And then there are some incredible courses out there. If I can name drop, I did a course with Cherubella and Tim Wheater, and they are incredible. So well versed in the sound world. I learned so much about how powerful it is, and it's been the best trajectory for me on my journey. But having said that, don't think that just because you want to learn sound healing, maybe you want to incorporate it in something you already offer. So maybe that is counselling or yoga or whatever. Don't feel that you need to have a huge array of instruments, because you really don't. Having that intention and having that connection and creating that space for people with the instruments is all you really need. So it's a misconception that you need to, invest thousands and thousands of pounds on all these instruments. You don't. Your voice is a really powerful sound tool. So every single person, there's an African proverb: if you can talk, you can sing. If you can walk, you can dance. So our voice, the simple hum, is a healing tool. So you don't need to rock up with these expensive tools. You could just maybe sing or hum, and that's really healing as well. Think about a baby. You're going to sing them a lullaby. If they're unsettled, you might hum a little bit, and it's the same for somebody else.
Yeah, no, I think definitely I've done a yoga practice and I was told to just close my ear and hum.
Yes.
And I practiced that before and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like you're inside your brain, but it's kind of so powerful because you're like, wow, just me humming and closing my ears makes a powerful shift within myself.
Yeah.
But I'd love to really experience, I guess, what it's like to hear some of these sounds through a
Yes.
sound bath kind of
I'd love to
meditation
show
guided
you.
kind of
Yes,
thing.
yes. So I've got some bowls with me and I'd love to just guide you on a few minutes of relaxation. So, yeah, you just need to listen. Anyone who is listening from home, it helps if you put some headphones in, but it's not essential. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Should we
I'm
have a
so
go?
excited.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little demo of what a sound bath looks like. Now, if you are in the car driving, if you're operating heavy machinery, just come back to this bit and do it later because I'm going to encourage you to close down your eyes. If you feel like you're in a right space to do that now and it feels comfortable to close down your eyes, please do. If not, you can just lower your focus, maybe soften in your gaze, and join me, please, in taking 3 deep breaths. We're going to do this to just really calm our bodies, calm our nervous systems. So deep breath in through the nose, and then we're going to breathe out through the mouth. Lovely. We're going to do 2 more of those. Deep breath in through the nose, and let it go. Gorgeous. 1 more. Deep breath in. Let it go. Lovely. Now, if you're sitting down or lying down, just invite you to notice the points of contact between your body and the surface beneath you. So just feeling where your body is held and supported. Maybe if your feet are in connection with the ground, just feeling into that connection. And whatever parts of your body that are connected to the earth, or the ground, or the seat you're on, just feeling as if it's really heavy, sinking down, maybe even rooting down into the earth, sending our roots down deep so that we can rise up strong, just like a tree. Just stay with this for a moment. And just allowing these sounds to just wash over you. Any time that your mind starts to wander, which it does, minds are busy, just see if you can bring yourself back to the sounds that you can hear and back to your breath. We want to breathe steady in and steady out.
Wow. Wow. Just need to take this in now.
Yeah, enjoy it. Enjoy those vibrations.
Thank you so much. Definitely so much more people need to chat to, you know. Wow, yeah. I guess all those different dynamic sounds really complement each other. I noticed there's like 3 different kind of bowls that you were using. And I guess, is there a difference in those 3 different ones as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I work with something called the chakra system, which are energy centers within the body. And so my instruments match certain chakras within the body. And so a chakra is essentially an energy wheel, and there are 7 main ones in the body. And so today I've played for you our root. So that's our feelings of safety. Then I've played our throat, which is our communication and being able to feel like you're being heard and being able to receive information clearly. And then lastly, I've played our solar plexus, which is our inner sunshine, our confidence. And when you put them together musically, they make a nice, pleasant sound, but it's also activating those different parts in our body too.
Wow, I definitely felt that as well. Just the vibrations. It feels like you can feel the vibrations as the sound is going on, and as you incorporate the different ones, there's something about complementing it, and yeah, it's really powerful.
I'm so pleased.
Yeah,
Thank
everyone
you.
definitely should give it a try.
Oh, and I was just going to say, for those who are listening, you can still receive the benefits without being in the same room as the bowls. The vibrations, as you can hear them, still travel through the speakers, etc., and as well as if you were in person with them.
Wow, thank you so much for that. I guess,
you.
where can people find you and your work?
Yes, please reach out. So I'm on Instagram. That's at Casey Kayla, CASEYCALA. And then I've also got my website, sensoryland.com. On the website, I've actually got some downloads. So if you're not local to me, if you can't make it to a face-to-face class, then I've got ways that we can work together online, whether that's live Zoom sessions or some downloads as well. I just really want to make it as accessible to people as possible. And technology is fantastic these days. We can do anything at any time. And that's what I'm trying to help people with too.
Thank you so much for that, Casey.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm so fortunate to be able to be facilitating this podcast here. If you are able to donate to Paper Garden, that would be truly appreciated to help them give back more to the community.